So, good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world right now. I'm, uh, welcome to this first live stream for international students. This is the third live stream I've ever done, so please bear with me if things go wrong and if I'm not the perfect host for a show like this, but at least we're trying. And I keep on learning every week, so please indulge me if there's any problems arising. We'll just have to deal with that. What are we going to do tonight? Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Harald Selke, and I am... Oh, for some reason this doesn't show what I wanted to show you over there. That's strange. This is one of the first problems we're having right now. I'm trying again. For some reason you can't see what I wanted to show you. Well, anyways, the point is, I know what I've done wrong. Well, anyways, so my name is Harald Selke, and I'm a student advisory, or whatever you might call it, student guidance at the University of Paderborn for computer science, specifically for computer science. I'm a computer scientist myself. And this live stream today is thought to give to you the opportunity to ask your questions if you are interested in coming to Paderborn to study here. Maybe you have already applied and want to come here and you have some concrete questions. I have also prepared a couple of things, and I can talk about several things, of course. But maybe it's a good idea if you just simply start, and if you just enter into the chat where you are from. Maybe that might be quite interesting to see where people are from. It's always interesting to know who's the audience, or you may introduce yourselves, of course, if you would like to. And of course, if you have any questions, you can ask them there. And it would be particularly interesting for me, of course, whether you have already applied, or whether you have already maybe gotten our acceptance so that you know that you can start at our university, or maybe you have already decided to come to our university, or maybe you haven't yet decided but are still thinking of whether to go to this university or maybe go to another university or another Hochschule, as they are also called, University of Applied Science, that would be. So I'm willing to answer all of your questions related specifically to studying computer science, the computer science master in Paderborn, of course, but also I can try and answer other questions as far as I can, because I think I know a little bit about Germany, I know a little bit about computer science, and I know a little bit about other universities as well. So if there's anything you'd like to know, just post your questions into the chat right here, and I will hopefully see them and will hopefully be able to answer them. And unless there are any questions, it might be a silent evening, and that's why I brought some beer with me, non-alcoholic, of course, so that I can still keep a clear head while you are asking your questions, hopefully at least. But I can also keep my throat a little lubricated. And of course, the whole thing is meant to be somewhat leisurely, so it's not some serious kind of stuff. Well, it is serious, of course, but I'm sitting in my office here right now. But still, it's already in the evening, at least here in Germany. We're 6 p.m. right now, so the evening is setting in. All my colleagues have just left, and so I'm virtually alone in the building, I guess. Now, very few people around here. And so we've got plenty of time, plenty of room for ourselves and for our discussions. So if there's any questions, just don't hesitate and answer them and ask them. I'll try to answer them, of course. There's no stupid questions at all. Maybe towards anything, probably something that has to do with computer science, and maybe in Paderborn as well. Okay, so there's a couple of mentions already. I'll try to find out if I can get those mentions onto my screen over here. That would be nice if that would work, but for some reason I'm just struggling with the technology. That's quite a normal thing. I guess you know these things. That's what I wanted to do. Ha. that's showing the wrong message right now, but ooh, that's very wrong what's happening right there. I'm not trying to show you this, I'm trying to show you something completely different, but I don't know how to find it. Just a second. And I should be able... I don't know what I'm doing here. Just bear with me for a moment. So now things might get working. That's what I wanted to do. So here we go. Yeah, that's fine. That's good to hear that someone has already got the acceptance. I sent out acceptance mails which are non-formal yet. This is just to inform you that you have been accepted. So I've only sent mails to those people who have been accepted, and there's still quite a number of applications open. We haven't reviewed all of them. We have around 350 applications for the next semester, and we're basically 2/3 through, I think. So we still have to do quite a bit of work, but we've already sent out to those people who we have accepted that they have been accepted. If you didn't receive anything yet, that may have two reasons. One reason might be that you have not been accepted. Then you will receive an official letter, of course, by the university. As will everybody who has been accepted. Everybody will get an official letter because you need that to get your visa. And the other possibility is that we simply haven't reviewed your application yet, but we will do that in the next couple of days. I hope that we will be through with it by Sunday. It might take a couple of days longer than that, but I hope as soon as possible, at least. I will send informal emails to all other people who have not yet received anything, everybody who has been accepted. And the official letters, they sometimes take quite long, and sometimes they even get lost. So make sure that you check your address, the postal address that you gave when applying via UniAssist, because that's the address we will be sending the documents to, and you will need that in order to get your visa, of course. So yeah, congratulations to anybody who has gotten the acceptance, and now it's up to you to decide, of course, because maybe you didn't just get an acceptance from our university, but maybe also from other universities, and then you've got the free choice, of course, which is one good thing to know. You can choose any of the universities you have applied to if you have been accepted, and so of course ours is the best. Who am I to say something different? But of course, it's your choice ultimately. And the other thing which is quite important to know is that if for some reason you can't get all your documents sorted, like the visa and whatnot, I don't know exactly what kinds of document you all need, but if you can't get everything sorted by beginning of October, which is when our semester starts, you can also transfer your study start to the next semester. That's no problem at all. It would be a good idea to contact our international office. Down below here in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description, I have given quite a number of links, and one of those is from the international office, who are in any case the best address to go to if you have any questions about traveling to Germany, getting visa, getting insurance, because you need health insurance and things like that. So everything that's not specifically computer science related, you could best address to them, and they can help you. They will also be the people who send you the letter of acceptance, and so they can help you in many more ways than I can do. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about documents. Oh, I don't know. Well, anyway, those are the people you can always contact them, and they can help you. Right. If you want to delay your study start for a semester, then you also just send an email to them and ask and tell them that you don't start in October if you don't want to, or if you can't get everything sorted until then, or if something happens, like for example, of course, we all know what's going on in the world. Everything is quite difficult right now. So. Yeah, if anything hinders you in starting in October, then just tell the international office, and you can also start in next next summer, which would be then in April, beginning of April, would then be the next date to start studying here in our university. And that's no problem at all. You don't lose your acceptance just by delaying. That's no problem at all. We've accepted you, and you can come at a later point if that's more convenient for you, and you don't have to reapply anywhere. So just tell the international office about that. Okay, so there's another question. If there is a chance that the semester is online or hybrid. Yes, there is. It will be online or hybrid. Or maybe it will be real. That's the three alternatives we have. We really can't say yet. That's unfortunately, that's not all I can say. But basically, our hope is that the next semester will be a return to something close to normal, which would mean that most classes would be really in the university, on campus, in real buildings, in brick and mortar lecture halls, and not in virtual ones. That at least is the current state of affairs. It may be that things change until October, because as we all know, things change very rapidly. Just in one of our neighboring countries, the numbers have gone straight up from very low, and since today they are again high incidence area. So, and that's just like 200 kilometers away from here, less than 200 kilometers away from here. So that's not here in Germany right now, but we don't know what will happen until October. There's this ominous Delta variant, and there's even more Greek letters involved right now. So we really don't know what will be happening, but for the time being, we are planning to return back to, as I said, something as close to normal as can be. This is particularly true for the master program, because in the master program, of course, our courses are usually not that huge, so we don't have, well, we have master courses with about 100 participants, but many master courses are much smaller than that. And the smaller a course is, I guess the higher the probability is that the course can take place in real in a real lecture hall in real life. So because for a large course, of course, it's very difficult, because if we have in our bachelor we have courses with like 400 people, and we wouldn't be able to cram 400 people into one lecture hall, because then at keeping the distances between the people, because we simply don't have a lecture hall larger than like 600 places, and yeah, that would be very, very problematic, of course. So as I said, we try to make everything as normal as possible, but we can't guarantee it. So basically what that means for most of you, I think, is that you should definitely plan to be here in October, because as I said, in October we start with the semester. 11th of October is the semester start, and that would be the first day of courses, of the classes, and from in the first week is quite very important, because there all the organizational stuff will be. You will be informed about all the organizational stuff, like what do you have to do in order to pass the course, what kind of exam will there be. They will also give you, of course, an overview of what is being done in this course and all those things. So that's a good idea to be there, of course, and it would be even a better idea if you aren't here just for the October 11th, when the classes start, but even a week before that, 4th of October, because that's when our orientation week or welcome week starts. And in this orientation and welcome week, what we will be doing there is we're going to introduce you to quite a lot of things. It's not, I'm just doing one small slot in there and tell you all the details about the computer science program, but there will be lots of other people who will be telling you about the organizational stuff, about how to find your way around Paderborn, where to find something to eat, where to find accommodation if you don't have any until then, about all sorts of topics. So it's really just to make you, well, not make you feel home, because that would be that would be a little too much. We can't really do that. You won't be home if you come to Paderborn. At least it won't feel like home for at least some time. Maybe it will become your second home at some point, but that will not be the case in the first weeks or even in the first semester, I guess. So we're trying to make your transition to Paderborn as smooth as possible. That's the idea basically with this welcome week. So I strongly recommend planning that you'll be ready to visit the first meeting on October the 4th, which will be sometime in the morning. I don't know the exact dates right now. So it would be best if you arrive in Paderborn at latest on the weekend of 2nd to 3rd of October. Keep in mind that Sundays in Germany, everything is closed, so there's no shops open or anything. And offices or Saturdays and Sundays are closed Offices are closed on Saturdays and Sundays usually, so it's a little more difficult to get around on the weekends, but travel, of course, is not problematic at all. So maybe that answers the question about online or hybrid. Well, most probably most classes will be held in real life, so I'd say there's a small chance but of courses being online or hybrid, but things may change, and yeah, well, the future is uncertain is more uncertain than ever, I would say, as it has been for the last year or so, I think. So we've got another question here relating to German courses. Yes, you do have to complete German at a certain level. The level is called A2, which is some kind of language standards that have been defined by some people who I don't know, but who know a lot about language, not other than me. And so you have to reach that level at some point during your studies. You don't have to bring any German when you come to Paderborn, because well, you will find that living your life without German is possible in Germany, and especially in Paderborn, because we've always been but for quite a long time, for 50 years now, we've been a university city, and we also have a strong tradition here, because we had British troops here for quite a long time. So city of Paderborn, the people around here, even the non-university people, basically everybody is quite prepared for communicating with people in English. And so you will find your way around. You will occasionally meet people who don't speak English, but in general, that's quite okay. So you won't starve here. You will survive. I can promise you that. And at the university, of course, you don't need German at all, because everybody's speaking English at the university, or at least is able to speak something like English. So what we Germans consider to be English, that is. And all our courses will be, no, not all our courses, but 95% of our courses will be in English, and in particular all mandatory courses. There's very few mandatory courses, but the few mandatory things that we have in our program, they're all in English. So you don't need any German to complete your studies. Still, we do expect you to learn some German, because it just helps you getting around. It also helps you to understand Germany, I think, because you will be living here for quite a while. And it's also helpful if after university, well, you might find that you don't not like it, so that you like it somewhat, and that you would like to stay here and find a job maybe in a company. And there is often quite useful if you at least speak a little bit of German. Nobody expects you to be really good in German, but at least a little bit. And that's what level A2 should be able to provide you with. So if you complete the courses on that level, you should be able to do basic communication in German, as far as I understand it, at least. So you will have to do those courses, and we have within our course program, there is a part that is called general studies. I'm just yeah, I'll just show you this, I guess. So what you can see right now here on this slide is we have this part which is called General Studies. That's the orange one on the right-hand side. The rest is all the computer science stuff, and the orange one, that is something which is extracurricular, so to speak. So it's not part of computer science, but you can take your language courses within that part. So at least up to 12 credits, that is. ECTS is the European Credit Transfer System, so 12 ECTS means 12 credits, basically. So that's what you can do there. You can do the language courses there. You can also take other courses there, but then you have to take your German courses elsewhere. Or maybe you already speak German on level A2, then you're fine. Or you speak German at some other level, or you decide to go to a Goethe Institute or wherever. So you can take your German courses elsewhere. You don't have to do them at the university, but you can, and if you do them at the university, you will be credited for them. So, but the basic question was, is there any requirement for some reason, something has changed here again. There we go again. So the basic question was if there is a requirement to complete German to some level, and yes, you do. And the other one was the long answer for that. This is someone, I guess, who is already studying here, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to ask such specific questions. I might point you towards a show live stream next week, where we will go into detail on or we will have a Q&A for our current students. So today's focus is a little bit different. Next week's focus will be on Q&A for current students, and then we will repeat that in a 4-week cycle, so to speak. So I'll be doing this, well, in September I'll take a break, so I will not be doing any live streams, but we'll do that through August, and then starting in October again, and it will always be a 4-week cycle. 1 week we will be addressing our prospective bachelor students, 1 week our current bachelor students, 1 week our prospective master students, which is today and in 4 weeks from now. And one will be for our current master students. And you may of course participate in any of them, though the first 2 addressed at the bachelor students, they are in German, and the other 2 for the master program, of course, are in English, because we have so many English-speaking students or prospective students it's only makes sense to do that in English. But anyways, of course, as I said, you're welcome in any week. You can always come by and look in and ask your questions, and I will address them at least as long as there is time. And I think we don't have too many questions right now, so we can address those questions as well. Studienleistung and project groups. This is 2 important things. Unfortunately, this thing vanishes a little too fast for my liking, but the question is, there's project groups. Project group is a special kind of course that we have, and that's a kind of course that runs over a full year. That's quite an extraordinary kind of course, and you don't find that at too many universities, as far as I know, at least. But it's always been here, at least for the last 30 years or so, we've had that in our study program. And the project group is something where you work together with a group of students, like around 15 people, 15 students, and you'll be supervised by usually 2 or 3 lecturers or teaching assistants, and they will give you a rather broad task. So it's not a specific task that you have to do something that they will be telling you have to do this, then you have to do that, then you have to do that. But it's rather more like a project that you would do, not in an industry context, but rather in a research context. So it's usually connected to the research of one of our research groups here, one of our professors, and you will be working on that. And it's quite an open problem, so you can shape it yourself. It's to a certain degree. The degree varies, but there's always some kind of shaping in there. So it's not that we give you a specific task, you have to do this now, but rather, well, as I said, it's a broad topic. And then you work on that, and you organize yourself within the group also. So it's quite an interesting kind of work, and you also have to deal with other people, of course. You have to deal with brilliant people, but you also will have to deal with people who maybe just don't do their work because they're not able to or because they are too lazy, and then the group has to find a way to deal with that as well. So it's also learning about working together with other people. It's not just about computer science. It's a lot about computer science, of course. But it's also about working together with other people on a real project for some time, for a year, as I said. Not an industry project, but a university project. And there is something there's a continuous evaluation of your work, so it's not that there will be an exam at the end in this project group, but rather it's a continuous evaluation. That means that the lecturers and the teaching assistants, they will, of course, they will meet with you. It's usually on a very frequent basis, usually at least weekly, sometimes twice a week, and they will try to figure out how good your work is, how you are progressing. If there's any problems, of course, they will be helping you, and they will be giving you resources if you need some resources and everything like that. And after half a year, there's the first point where there's a kind of collecting the impressions that the teaching assistants and the lecturers have. So that they, after half a year, they will give you what is called the Studienleistung, or qualifying participation. It's also called in English, which means you are on a good way. And so after half a year, you've got a kind of the first time you, as I said, you get feedback all the time, but that's the first point where you get a kind of a formal feedback, and that will also be entered into our university systems for managing the campus management system. And then it says, well, yes, he or she has done this part of the project group. But that's just one part. That's after one semester usually. And then comes the second semester, and at the end you'll receive the full award, which is called an exam, but it is a continuous evaluation. As I said, it's not one oral exam at the end of everything or something like that, but it's the sum of your work overall of the complete year. The second part of the question was, what is the limit of trying project groups if someone fails after some specific time? If you already fail the Studienleistung, this intermediate evaluation, if you already fail at that point, nothing is lost. You can repeat that part, the first semester of the project group, as often as you want. You don't want to repeat it, really. You really want to manage at the first, or at latest at the second time, but because you always lose one semester, half of a year. But so it is a good idea to be aware of any problems if they arise, and then if there are any problems, that's very important, and that's true for all our courses, even if you have problems in any of the courses. If there is a problem, talk to the people, talk to your lecturers, talk to the teaching assistants in the courses, in the project group, or in a seminar or wherever. The way to disaster, the certain way into disaster, is not to talk to the people. Everybody is approachable, everybody is open. There's no reason not to talk to a professor. They're not somewhere up there, and they're just normal people, and you can talk to them, and you don't even have to call them professor, especially not me, because I am no professor. I'm just a doctor, but you don't even have to call me doctor. So I'm just Harald Selke. That's me. It's really everybody. You can talk to everybody, and there's no professor has a problem if you address him directly. You don't have to go through some kind of hierarchy to approach him. Sometimes people are very busy, and then they will ask you to make an appointment with through their secretary or something like that. That's perfectly normal, but everybody will be available for you to talk to in normal courses, and particularly in seminars and in project groups, where communication is even more important than in any other course. But as I said, communication, always go, if there's a problem, And if you think there is a problem, talk to other people. Talk to your fellow students, talk to the lecturers, talk to the teaching assistants. That's the best thing you can do, always. That should be rule number one for studying in Paderborn or studying in Germany, I guess, in general. In other countries it may be different, but here definitely it is so. Yet, still answering the second part of this question, sorry for the lengthy answers here. If someone fails after the second part, that is, in the second half of the project group, that is to say, he passed the Studienleistung, or he failed, well, in fact, you have to leave the project group before you fail the Studienleistung. Otherwise, it also counts. No, it doesn't count. No, it doesn't. Sorry, forget that. Forget the last 30 seconds. So if you fail after the Studienleistung has been entered, then you have passed the Studienleistung after this intermediate evaluation, and then comes the second part of the project group. And if you fail in that second half, then the project group as a whole will be counted as failed, and that means that you have to repeat the project group, and you can do that twice. 2 repetitions. That means in all you can do it 3 times. So you do it once, and then you can repeat it, and you can repeat it again. But if you do, keep in mind, this always means that you lose a full year, and then you've spent 3 full years in project groups. You really don't want to do that. So there are people who fail the first project group for various reasons. Often it's because they didn't communicate, but nobody should fail a second project group. And because at the latest point, at the intermediate evaluation of the second project group, you should definitely be aware of the fact that there might be a problem or something is really going wrong. And if that is, talk to other people, talk to fellow students, I don't repeat all of that. You get the gist, I think. So that's what I'm trying to say about project groups. It's a very interesting form of learning. I've always loved it. I was one of the first in this university. I've studied here myself, so I was in one of the first project groups that has, when I studied, that have ever been offered here, and it was a great experience. It's a lot of work, but it's also very interesting, and you learn so many things in such a project group. It's really a great form of learning, I think. Okay. So, Tala says, I have already received the letter of acceptance in PDF form. Will I also receive it via post? That's a good question. In fact, I don't know. I hope that the PDF form should be enough for the visa process, whatever it's called, visa application process, whatever, when going to the consulate or anything. I hope that is enough, but I'm really not sure. I would suggest taking that question to the international office. The link is down below, the international office, and I've linked to the contact page, and there's especially 2 people, Mr. Muriganchuro and Mr. Funayama Thorsen. They are the 2 people who are the closest to this to your kind of program that you are doing here, which is an international or English-speaking master program. So they will be able to answer your questions if they will send it via post. As to my understanding, we usually have sent them via post, but so many things have changed over the last 1.5 years. So many things where we always had to send paper, and so many things that we can now simply send PDFs, which was impossible before. But bureaucracy has vanished in some places, so maybe the PDF is enough. Sorry, I can't tell you. I would really suggest asking the international office. Emily, hi, you're from the US. Yes, I remember seeing your application. Wondering about the semester structure. When do lectures begin and end? Yes, that's the good question. And are there any holidays? There are holidays, and there are holidays between the semesters, and there are holidays within the semester. I don't have, I'll just check if I can quickly find the current dates for everything. Just a second. there should be something here. Yes, well, there it is. So I hope that this is readable, or maybe I can make it larger than that. So the winter semester is, that's always a little confusing in Germany. The semester always runs from 1st of October to 31st of March. Ah, that's last year. I should pick the right year, of course. But you can see the same thing here. The first two dates that you can see there are 1st of October to 31st of March. That's the semester. And the semester always is one semester ends and the next one begins. So the semester after that starts on 1st of April and ends on the 30th of September. But that's just administrative dates, so they're not of any interest in, well, there are sometimes because they, well, anyways, usually they're not that interesting. The more interesting dates are the ones below that, and that's, it says 4th of October there. I have the 11th of October for the start of the lecture period. That's interesting. As far as I know, lectures start on the 11th of October. I will have to check that. Just a second. So, but basically that's the important part. So you'll find that if you go to the Paderborn University homepage, and then you find up here, you'll find the quick links. You have to switch to English, of course. You'll find the quick links, and then there's this point, dates and deadlines in there. And there all of those dates will be published and updated if anything changes. So I'll have to find out. I'll just check. So cut back to me. I'll just check in a different system when my lectures will start, and that should give us an idea. Because when my lectures start, all the other lectures should start as well. And it says, I'm in the wrong part here, of course, and it says, I'm making this building suspense here. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to find my way. Yeah, as far as I can see, everything starts on the 11th of October. That's my information, and that should be correct. I hope. But again, in the letter from the that you will be receiving, letter or PDF that you will be receiving from our international office, the exact dates will be mentioned. So please plan to be here by 4th of October, because, as I said, the welcome week will be in that. Or orientation phase will be in that week, and it will be a good idea to be there. But in general, the dates were, as I just said, you'll find them on this page usually, and that was just checking at another point here. Just rechecking if there's anything that I missed, but I should be right. 11th of October until 4th of February, that would be. I'll just check at one other place, because there's always a good chance that I've gotten something wrong. No, until 4th of February. And then the summer semester will then start again on 4th of April, which is before even before Easter. So well before Easter, because Easter is very late this next year. There will be a break within the semester, and that will be over Christmas, of course, because, as you know, probably know, Germany is something like still very much Christian country, although with people from all religions living here, but majority is still Christian. So Christmas, of course, is an important time of the year, and there will be 2 weeks over Christmas We'll have to find out the exact dates, but they are also mentioned on that website that I had there. Should be 24th, which is Christmas Eve, until the 8th of January. That should be the time when there will be no lectures. So that's a good. That's holidays during the semester, and during the summer semester we don't have any holidays within the semester, because the summer semester is a little more compressed, and there's no holidays within the semester. I hope that answers that question. Okay. There we go again. In which semester could you best schedule a semester abroad? That's a good question. Personally, well, in theory, you can do it in any semester, of course. Personally, I'm not sure if a semester abroad from a semester abroad would be a good idea, but maybe it is. I don't know. I guess most of the students who come here spend the complete master here at our university and don't move to another country in between. But I guess there might be opportunities for that, especially within Europe, because if you've got a visa for Europe, you can move around within Europe quite freely. I don't know exactly how you would have to, what exactly you would have to do in order to go study in a different country, but there are European exchange programs, so that may well be possible. If you go to a country outside of the European Union, that might be even more difficult. So I'm really not sure about that. I tried to find out, but I've never had the question before, so I'm afraid I can't give a good answer to that. Personally, it seems a little odd to me to do a broad semester from a study program abroad, but maybe it makes sense. I'm just not sure about that. Computer Science Master Program by Jade. I hope I don't butcher the name completely. From Bangladesh. German embassy in Bangladesh are unable to provide visa timely because of COVID. Can we defer the semester and start from summer 22? Yes, you can. Of course, we're living in difficult times. Cheers to that. And of course, yeah, that is a problem, and in particular, you might live in countries where the COVID situation is really bad right now, and of course, you should always keep in mind that your health, your own, and the health of others, but your own especially is very valuable, and you shouldn't take any risks there. But independently of that, of course, there's the problem that people you just can't go to appointments. We also had the same problem with applications, because we require all these English language certificates and stuff like that. Not from the people in the US, but from people in India and Bangladesh and virtually from everywhere around the world. And they're difficult to get right now. So we've got some intermediate solutions running there for the time being. But with visa, that of course is a problem. But the good news is that you can defer for your study start until the summer semester, or even longer than that. Please just notify the international office, and as I said, link is below. Or if you already received your PDF or a letter, then you already have their address, and you simply write to them and say, sorry, I can't come right now. I'd like to start in summer 2022, and then everything is good. So you don't lose the acceptance. You can start at any time you like, which means at any semester start. It's not a good idea to come just in the middle of the semester. Well, you could, but if they allowed you into the country, but you just can't start studying then, of course, because when you can't go into a lecture in the middle of a semester. That would be not a very good idea. Already studying again. Agree that it would be odd to do semester abroad if you're already abroad. Yes. Well, maybe it might be interesting. I've had one student, in fact, here who studied. He was from, I don't know where from, from some distant country, and he studied. Went to study or to do his master in computer science in Milan, in Italy, and from there he went on a broad semester to Paderborn, in fact. So he did that, and I only know because he came to me because he asked if he could change to Paderborn, because for some reason he liked it better here than in Milan, which is probably not due to the beauty of the city. I like Paderborn, but I think Milan should be quite an interesting city too. Well, I don't know the exact reasons. I didn't ask him, but yeah, maybe there is some reason to try something else. And of course, it might be interesting because sometimes you'll find that you have some interest in certain courses that a specific university can't offer, and maybe another university can offer them. And then it might be an idea to go to another university to take exactly those courses that the other university can't offer you. And we usually have if you want to do that, if you go to another university, is also always a good idea to talk to me, or even better, to our to the person responsible for our exchange programs, and to find out if courses can be accepted, so can be transferred from another university, because very often that is the case. So if, for example, we don't have a course in, say, I don't know, robotics, and but we do have machine learning and things like that. And if there's another university, and you say, well, robotics would be something, and I think that fits quite well with machine learning, because that's my main interest, artificial intelligence and all these things, that's my main interest, and I would like to combine that with robotics. And I found a university where they offer good robotics courses, then you can go to that university, take those courses there, come back to us, and just organize it in before that you can be sure that the course from the other university can be transferred to us. So things like that are possible, so it can make sense. But I guess it's also a lot of hassle and a lot of work to do, and to find your way around. Okay, so some more questions. Jomon, is it? Maybe, I don't know how. It's not completely wrong, the pronunciation. Is it possible to do an internship during the duration of the course? We don't have an internship as part of our master program. So if you want to do an internship, you can do it on your own. And most people do, in fact, something different than an internship, and that is they choose to work beside studying, because that is perfectly possible. You can, while studying, you can take up a job. Your visa, as far as I know, your visa does allow that, because we have many people from all over the world who have been studying here, and while they were studying, they were working either in university. University itself has quite a lot of jobs in research projects or research groups. They're always on the hunt for good people. So if you have some specific qualification that they might be looking after, also for teaching assistants, for teaching support, students will be needed. For technical support, we're looking for, we're having student jobs. So there's lots of jobs at the university. Then there's also quite a lot of jobs in companies around the area, in and around Paderborn. Though Paderborn is not a major city, we call it a major city. Major cities in Germany are everything above 100,000, about above 100,000 people. Paderborn has 150,000 inhabitants, but we have a strong tradition in IT industry, so we have lots of smaller and bigger companies in the area. And if you go towards the wider area, then there's even more companies where you can go to. And those companies are often looking for good people. for people who do good work, and so they offer jobs. And most people prefer that over an internship because internships sometimes aren't paid or are very low paid, whereas a student job is usually, it's nothing to get rich, but it's a little better paid at least. So you get a decent amount of money out of there. There is a maximum amount of work that you can do in any week, and that is, I believe it's just shy of 20 hours per week that you can go to work while still while still retaining your full student status. But if you do that, that's really a lot of work, and it takes away from the time that you can be studying. So the more you go to work, the longer you will need to complete your master, and so that's a trade-off. And I would advise not to work too much. Well, you can work on your master, of course, but for money in industry or in the university, you shouldn't work too many hours per week because it simply takes away from your master, from the work that you can invest into your master program. But you can go to work, and of course it is very valuable also for if you want to apply for a job later, be it here in Germany or be it elsewhere, because of course the experience you collect in a job is very invaluable. So it's really, yeah, it is a good idea, I think, to go to work, and not just because of the money, but also because, well, you learn quite a lot of things, and it is good on your resume. Resume? I don't know. You know what I mean, I hope. So, yes, I would rather recommend to do that than an internship. During the exam phase, it would be possible. Yes. Yeah. What I was just talking about was that basically you would be working all the time, so even during the semester, and that is possible, but of course it may collide with your courses. We don't have any regulations that say that you need to be present for the courses, but it usually is much harder to pass a course if you don't go to the course, to the lectures, of course. So it is generally not advisable to miss too many classes. You can miss a class here and there, of course, but in general, it's not a good idea to regularly miss a class. So like say there's something on Monday morning, and Monday mornings is your work day, so you just can't go there, then I would recommend not taking that course. It might be possible, but usually it will be a lot harder. But there is the exam phase. That's one important thing about, I talked about this semester, the break between the semesters, like, as I said, just looking over to my note where it says when the semester ends, 4th of February, and then it starts again on 4th of April. But you have to keep in mind that the exams are all in this period where there are no lectures. So February and March. February and March are the 2 months then between winter and summer semester where all the exams are. There's usually 2 separate exam blocks. So there's a number of exams in the first block and a number of exams in the second block. And there's some time in between. The time in between that would be a good time for either holidays or an internship, for example. And the time, and you can also spare one of the exam blocks, because you take all your exams in the first block, for example, and then you can skip the second exam block because you have already passed all of your exams, and then you're good to go and can go again on holidays or do an internship or anything like that. Are there any specialization modules in the program? Yes, there are. Then I'll switch to some of my slides that I have handy. Where am I? This is the one I'd like to show to you. Oh, wrong one. This is the one I would like to show to you. There we go. So you see this hexagon in the top right corner there, and that's the with the abbreviations of the specialization areas we have. So what you'll be doing is you'll be studying, this is the study, the complete program in a nutshell. And what you see here is that you have to study 8 normal modules. A module is, simply speaking, is a normal course, which means lectures plus tutorials. It is usually like 3 hours of lectures and 2 hours of tutorials, or 2 hours of lectures and 3 hours of tutorials. Your mileage may vary, but usually that's the 2 things we have there. That's the normal modules. That's a normal course, so to speak. So 1 course, 1 module. That's it. Then we have the project group. We've already talked about that. This is the 1-year block on the left-hand side here. You can't do that in your first semester, but you should, if possible, by any means, start the project group in the 2nd semester. But we'll talk about that sometime when you're here. There's no reason to worry about that right now. And you have to take 2 seminars. Also, you can't take a seminar in the first semester because the seminars will be distributed, the topics and everything will be prepared right now before you're even here. So you can't take a seminar right now. So also forget about those seminars for the time being. We'll come back to that once you're here. There's the other live stream, which starts next week and will be repeated. So when you're here, there's always room for questions you can ask there. So we've got these 8 modules that you can see are the greenish ones. And what you need to do is, basically, what we're saying is pick any courses that you like. There's just 2 rules that you have to obey with those 8 courses, or 2 requirements that you, only at the end, when you want to register your master's thesis, by that time you need to fulfill 2 requirements. The one requirement is that within those 8 modules, there must be 3 from one, what we call focus area, and that would be then your specialization. I'll come back to what kind of specializations there are in a minute. So that's the specialization, one of those focus areas. And then the second requirement is that one of the modules that you pass must be from another area, which is not your specialization. And that leaves 4 modules open. 3 need to be in the specialization, 1 needs to be from outside of the specialization, and that leaves 4 modules open, and those 4 modules can be anything you like. You can go into different areas, and you can also go all into one specialization area. So what are the specialization areas? Those are the ones listed here. Currently we have 6 of them, those focus areas, and you don't pick one at the beginning of the program. This is something special, I think, here in Paderborn. You don't have to decide at the beginning of when you take up your studies, but you can just start studying and then see what is to your liking. And if you decide, well, I want to go into, say, algorithm design because it's the first one on the list here, and then after, say, 2 semesters, you decide, well, maybe that's not really my thing, that I'd rather go into data science, then you can do that. That's no problem at all, because nobody needs to know what your specialization is going to be. You only decide that once you go towards your master's thesis. When you apply for your master's thesis, once you start to once you want to register your master thesis, that's the point where you need to decide, because the master thesis needs to be in the specialization area as well. So if you say algorithm design is my thing, then you need at least 3 modules there. And then you can write the master's thesis in that area. My computer is a little buggy right now. It's not the computer, it's the HDMI interface which sends the signal, so it sometimes flickers a little. No worries about that. So 3 in algorithm design, then 1 which is not from algorithm design, and 4 more modules from any of those areas. They can all be from algorithm design, so that you have, in the end, you have 7 modules from algorithm design and just 1 from something else. Or you can do 3, just the 3 in algorithm design, then do 3 in computer systems and 1 in software engineering, leaves one open, 2 in software engineering, and you're good as well. So it's almost impossible not to find a combination that suits you. So you can really choose if you have just one specialization, and you can also do kind of 2 specializations, because you could also say, for example, take 4 modules in algorithm design and 4 modules in data science, and you would also fulfill all of the requirements. And then you can write your master's thesis either in algorithm design or in data science, but not in any of the other areas, of course, because the others can't be your specialization. But then you can, even at the last moment, you can decide, well, I'll take data science or algorithm design as my specialization. So you're very flexible in that sense. You need to do some planning, but it's not really hard to do the planning, and you should be able to study according to your own interest. The 6 areas that we have are algorithm design, which is rather theoretical, of course. Lots of, just need a bit of lubrication. In algorithm design, what you do is, and that's a very theoretical computer science, like data structures and algorithms. Parallel algorithms is a very strong field here. So that's the things we're doing there. I think I have prepared something. Just a second. No, I didn't. Sorry. I thought I had a list of modules ready. No, I don't. Sorry, I can't just show you the current modules that we have in either, so that you have an idea of the courses that we give there. But you can check. There's another link down here, which is the Paul system. paul.uni-paderborn.de. Paul is our campus management system. And there you find the course catalog. I can't give you a direct link there because they've got these crude addresses. But just switch to English and then walk down the course catalog and then go into Faculty of Computer Science, Mathematics and Electrical Engineering, and then go into the Department of Computer Science, and then go into the Master Program for Computer Science, and then go into then you're in the master program, and there you'll find those 6 focus areas, and there you can find a list of the courses which will be offered in the next semester. There will be more courses being offered. You can find all the courses which are offered in our module handbook. Again, there's a link below this this video here where you find the module handbook, the module guidebook, and all the courses are listed in there, and then so you can have an idea what kind of courses you might want to take. So algorithm design, as I said, theoretical computer science. Computer systems is more like the closer to the computer system, to the hardware side. Like we're just building a new there's just new building under construction at the university. We'll be getting one of the fastest computers in Europe, at least I think, maybe even in the world. So we have to do high performance computing up there. We also do networking and mobile networks, vehicular stuff, and lots of things. So closer to the hardware, to the system level there. Data science, I don't think that needs too much explanation what that is about. Intelligence and data, of course, closely related to data science, but with a little bit of a different focus, more towards artificial intelligence than data science is. Then we have networks and communication. That's where all the networking stuff, I just mentioned networking under computer systems, but that's in fact in networks and communication, of course. Mobile networks, things like that, that's in networks and communication. And software engineering, I think, is pretty much self-explanatory. There's things like software quality assurance and lots of interesting things, I think. Within algorithm design and within software engineering, we also have currently a couple of modules which are towards like cryptography and security aspects. And because we have right now we are hiring new people, also new lecturers who are good in security. And so we are planning to start a new focus area, which is security. That will then be our 7th focus area that you can choose. And as I said, that doesn't exist right now. We hope to have it established. I don't like that flickering, so oops, Sorry. That was what I was going to cut to. So in the security area, focus area should be ready by next summer semester, but we can't guarantee that. We hope we'll have it by that time. But even if we don't, because you don't have to decide right now, you can also just choose the courses that you like, and then at a later point you can see, like, for example, cryptography and things like that. We can inform you about what area, which modules are going to be in the security focus area, and so you can plan accordingly, and then just pick the focus area as soon as it exists. So this is like a bit of a look into the future, and I can't definitely promise you that the focus area will be there, but it is planned, and we hope to have it ready by next summer semester. So that's this. Then right now it's 6, and then it will be 7 specializations that you can do, and it's up to you to pick the one that you are interested in, and you should really pick along according to your own interests. So there's no specific reason to go into this area or that area. Everything might be interesting, and there's good reasons for any of them, and that's why we're offering them, because if we wouldn't believe that they are interesting, there would be no point in offering them. Okay. Is it possible or common to take an extra 4th semester of courses before the beginning of the master's studies? Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, most people do. The point is the program that you saw, which is geared towards 2 years, which is 4 semesters. It's a theoretical model, and there is. And as you might have seen in the diagram, it says you should pick 5 modules in the first semester. And those of you who already received an email from me, I've written in there that I think that 5 modules really is a lot. And you have to keep in mind that you're coming to a foreign country. Everything is different here. And it might be less different for people from some countries and more different for people from other countries. You have to find your way around. You have to, you're far away from all of your relatives and your friends and all the people who usually can support you. We all have the virtual means like these ones here, but still it's different. And also getting used to the German university system is difficult. Everything will be more or less different from your home country. So I guess if you really manage to complete 3 modules in the first semester, you also have to do the language courses, or most of you at least have to do them. So if you really finish 3 modules in the first semester, then that's quite good, I would say. And then proceed from there. And I wouldn't too strongly count on completing everything in these 3 semesters and then do the master's thesis in the 4th semester. But rather, for the first thing is, you can also do courses parallel to the master's thesis. That's not forbidden. You can do that. But you can even do courses after the master's thesis, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. But you shouldn't do too many courses in parallel to the master's thesis, because the thesis is quite a lot of work. And your head won't be free for learning for exams when you're just completing your master's thesis. That's just not a good idea usually. But you can do it. For a single course, for example, that's perfectly fine, I would say, but not for more than maybe 2 courses, but definitely not for more than 2 courses. But you can also just decide to push your master's thesis to the 5th semester, so that you just complete your master in 5 semesters. And to be honest, many people do that. Many people even take longer than that. There's no specific time when we say now you're out of the university. So in fact, you can virtually study as long as you like, or as long as your visa allows you to do. So we won't throw you out of the university. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but it is the truth. So this is why I'm sharing this here with you. It's not a good idea to study for like 8 years, but in theory you could, as long as your visa allows you to do so. Your visa won't allow you to do that, to study as long as that, but I know of people who have at least studied like 5 years or even 6 years, I think, in our master program, international students, that is to say. German students can even study even longer because they don't have any visa problems. But as I said, that's usually not too much of a good idea. So you should plan to do it in, like, I'd say 5 or 6 semesters. It would be good if you manage that, and then that would be really great, I think. But don't plan to complete everything, really everything, in those 2 years. You can do it; it is possible, but then you really have to push hard. And studying abroad, I think, means a lot. It's not just that everything is difficult, more difficult than in the environments you're used to, but of course you might also want to live a little here, and that means maybe that you will be going and maybe do some traveling, for example, in Europe once you're here, because, well, it might be difficult for you to get back to Europe, or expensive, and you might be on the job later, and then you can't get the enough of vacation to go on a lengthy trip or something like that. And once you're here in Germany, we are very central in Germany, within Europe, so this is really a good hub to go and travel anywhere around Europe. And if you also want to do things like that, I think it's quite natural that you will take longer than just the exact 2 years. But it's your choice. As I said, you can just say, my plan is to finish this in 2 years, and I'm investing all of my time and all of my energy into studying and finishing and completing all the complete program in 2 years. It is possible, but you really have to plan everything very good, not in the first semester, but starting in the second semester. The first semester, you can basically, I would really just do it as an orientation semester. Pick the courses that you like, that you're interested in, go into them. If you think that the course isn't for you, then deregister from the course. Remember to deregister, otherwise you might run into problems, but we'll leave that for later when you're here. We'll talk about that in a later session here, I think I'd suggest. Yeah, you can do it and run through the course program. So that already answers a little bit, I hope, the minimum and maximum time spent question that we have here, in which the program can be completed. Minimum, I would say, under 2 years, I'd say it's impossible. Yeah, definitely. Under 2 years is not possible at all. 2 years is possible, but it really means going all in on and investing all of your energy into that. Maximum time span. In the end, your visa is probably the limiting factor. We, as a university, we won't throw you out. As you know, we don't have any study fees. There is a little fee, but there's no real tuition fees, because the other fees, there are fees, but there are different fees, and you get something in return for that, like cheaper food in our university institutions, like Mensa, which is our university cafeteria, where you can get quite decent food and for quite good prices. And also you get public transportation within quite a large area, not just in Paderborn, but in a very large area, which is, maybe you already know a little bit about Germany. Germany is divided into 16 countries, or 16 states. Where, if you compare it to the US, that would be the states, and we're in the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. And in all of North Rhine-Westphalia, which is an area which extends not too far from here into that direction, but into that direction, it's like more than 200 kilometers. And in all this area, everywhere, all the trains and most of the buses are free to use for you. So there's something you get in return. But apart from that, there is no tuition fee. And of course, you have the cost of living. But as long as you can afford that, studying in Germany isn't really that expensive. Tuition-wise, as I said, there's nothing you have to pay, and that makes it easy to study longer, maybe. Okay, so There is another question. Completed language, German language A1. So I can answer you in German right now, right? Now I won't do that because it will be unfair to the others. Can I start from A2? Yes, you can. I just had a talk this afternoon with someone who is more experienced in the language courses than I am, because I virtually don't know anything about the language courses. But they told me that when you go, it's a special institution within our university. It's the Center for Language Learning, and when you wish to go to a course there, then they make an initial test, and they check what your language level is. I don't know if they look at the formal sheets, if you have a language certificate already with you with A1. Maybe that's enough for them, but I guess they will make a little test just to put you in the correct course, because they don't want to have people in the course who are just sitting around and are getting bored, and they just want to put you into the right course. So as to my understanding, at least, if you have level A1, then you would start at level A2 directly. And yeah, that everything should be good from there on, I think. Okay, so I guess I'm through with all of the questions for the moment. If there's any more questions, you're always welcome. Otherwise, I'd say we'll wrap it up right here. We've been talking I've been talking all of the time for more than an hour, and I hope that there was at least some useful information in here. I would be happy to welcome you here in Paderborn, of course, and see you in October if possible, or in the summer semester if not possible. And yeah, I think I hope at least that you will have a good time here. I can promise that we are trying to do our best, and this program here, it is an experimental program. We've just, as I said, we've just started it 2 weeks ago, and the idea is basically that we're trying to improve the support that we can give to students who are, or to those people who are our future students or might be our future students, and also to those people who are already studying here. And as I said, there will be a 4-weekly cycle where I will always go into a different. We'll address different audiences. And you'll find on my webpage, which is also linked down here below, the first link below this video, there you'll find the link to my website, and you can always contact me there. There's my email address you will find there, and all further information. You already received an email from me, so you already have my email address. Most of you at least have. And so you can just send me an email with any questions that you have at any point in time, and I'll try to do my best and answer them. And apart from that, as I said, we'll do this program here. I will repeat it in August. So 4 weeks, next week we'll have the current master students, so that might not be too interesting for you. As I see, most of you aren't here yet, so that might be not the right program for you then, because I will be talking so much about specific things that you might just be that might just not be something that you can digest for the time being. And then in 4 weeks from now we'll have a program like this again, and I'll be open for new questions, of course, for different questions, and I can also talk about other stuff. It's really a program meant for you, so I'm really dependent on your questions, so that I can try to do my best and answer those things that you are interested in. It may be related closely to our study program, as some of the questions today were, or it may be also on other topics, of course. And once you're here, we'll meet in person, of course. As I said, that will be in 4 weeks from now. In September, there will be no shows, no live streams, and then we'll start again in October. But by that time, you will probably be here. And from then on, you'll probably go to the other program, which will then be the one for current students, because then you will be a current student. So you'll be here and you'll be studying with us, and then we'll get all the other things. And you will learn that there are quite a lot of things which you need to get used to, like we're Germans, so we have quite a lot of bureaucracy, of course. So there's certain things, there's always deadlines that you have to keep in mind and shouldn't miss, because if you miss those deadlines, then something serious may happen, something not deadly serious, but well, you might lose some time in your study program, for example, and yeah, it's just things that you don't, that don't need to happen to you. But until then, I will hopefully have met some of you, especially all those of you who will be starting in October, because on the 4th of October, as I said, our welcome week starts. That should be the date when you should be here. Oh, there's one more thing. One last thing I would like to mention. There's a video series down that I have linked down here, which is on the same channel here. We have a playlist studying abroad in Paderborn, and there's some quite nice little tips, not all very short videos, but I think they have some nice little tips on how to find your transportation, for example, once you arrive at one of the larger airports in Germany, like Frankfurt or Düsseldorf, and how to find your train to Paderborn, how to find your way around Paderborn, how to find the university. All those little things. So there might be quite some quite useful tips in those videos. So I'd recommend you watch those. And if you found the university by this first week in October, then on one of those days, I don't know the exact date right now, but on one of those days, then we'll meet in person, and then I will talk quite a lot more in detail to all of you about the study structure again, what we already did a little bit, but not everybody who's starting in October has been here today, of course, and also about more in detail about all of the other things like project groups, like seminars, and all the other little things that need to be organized and managed. So that's it for today. I'll take one final last sip from the bottle. And with that, I'll call it a day. I wish you a pleasant night or morning or wherever you are right now. I know that we're at least people from Bangladesh and India and the US, so quite different time zones, halfway around the world at least. So have a good rest of the day or full day or rest of the night or whatever, and I'll see you in the next live stream here or in real life at sometime in October. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and good travels, and have a good trip to Germany, and I'll see you then, and say goodbye.